Here we are, Steve Knoble, Knoble Moto. Going to swap out the rear pulley on my off my rear wheel off my 05 Dyna. As you may have seen on my Instagram, I broke the rear pulley on the tire machine the other day. The arm jumped out and took a big chunk out of the side of it. So bought a new Ultima one because it's shiny instead of a stock one. I also had to use. I'm gonna have to use a Drag Specialties wheel spacer on here, or pulley spacer. So there's been a lot of debate of these rear pulleys coming off and bolts backing out and so on and so forth. So I'm going to give you the rundown of at least what I use for procedure on this, and what has not failed me yet, knock on wood, it won't start failing me again anytime soon. So hopefully you can use this and not end up with your pulley jammed in the side of your wheel on the side of the road. So here we go. All right, one of the next steps we're going to go through here is we're going to make sure the surface is nice and clean. So we're going to sand it, give it a quick light sand. I think what bites a lot of guys, besides the crap in the threads that gives you a missed torque number, I think you get a little bit of corrosion here on this aluminum face, and just a wee little bit, might make the pulley sit a little cockeyed, so it never really seats down properly when they torque it down. So I'm going to take a little sanding block here, just way of the hand, just to knock off any high spots there, any corrosion. Actually see there's a little bit of powder coat on here from Harley. We all know they have great quality control. So just nice little clean surface. If I was putting the stock pulley back on, I would take the inside face of the stock pulley and give it a little sand too. Now just to get debris off of there, safety glasses, going to take some brake clean or compressed air. We're going to hose out each hole, then hose off the face of the thing. Stand it up so it drains out. It'll drain out there, soak into the wood on my workbench. Probably warp it later on and frustrate the hell out of me. We'll take an old rag here, wipe off what's left on the wheel, what's left on the face, and we are ready for the installation. All right, next step, got everything cleaned up really well. We've got our pulley here. And of course, we've got our Drag Specialties spacer. I'm not plugging Drag Specialties, it's just who made it. So we're going to set this up there in place, line it up, make sure it sits all nice and flat. Now I bought some new bolts for this. I got grade 8s. Bike came with grade 5s. Local hardware store had grade 8s, so why not go bigger? Got the same size. Got some thick thick washers to go on there, some machine washers. So we're going to line it up there. Start these in. Now I'm just going to hang 2 bolts on here, then I'm going to put Loctite on the threads. So I'm actually going to end up taking those ones back out. But for the time being, just to hang it in place and for demonstration. And you can see I'm throwing these bolts in pretty much at my fingertips. If you're having any more binding than that, or you got to use a ratchet to run them in here, something's wrong. You might want to take the bolts back out and take a look at your threads down inside there. All right, already started 2 bolts in here, just to get the pulley lined up and everything. Got some blue Loctite here. Put a little dab here if you can see it. Just one little dot there in the first couple threads. That's all you need. Thread each one of these in here until they're finger tight. Now we kind of put two of them in and snugged them up a little bit just to make sure the pulley and everything was centered. Had it flat while I did that, then I wouldn't be able to stand it back up here. So, and the last bolt here, a little blue lock on the end there. Should go all the way in there. This one's got a faint little tight spot on it, so there. Spin it past tight spot. We'll snug them all up a little bit so they all make contact right there. All right. Now we're going to go around. We're going to give them all a little bit of a pull with the little 3/8 drive ratchet. Then I'll go back with the torque wrench and actually torque them all spec. What I'm going to do is, of course, cross pattern just like your lug nuts. So there, there, there. And like so. Alright, so you're going to torque all these down spec. Harley manual says these are 56 foot-pounds for each one of these on cast aluminum wheels. So I'm going to take my breaker bar here, and I'm going to torque them to right about that. My actual torque wrench apparently has been loaned out and not returned. Big shocker. So, torque these down anyways. Stand the wheel up here. Get a hold of it. Of course, still in the crisscross pattern. It's always good to hug your wheels, you know. Now we're going to go back and do all the rest of these. Pull one more time to make sure nothing's seated in too far. There you have it. Rear pulleys reinstalled on the bike. Now, a little trick I like to do, since these are problematic, I didn't safety wire them. I like to make sure that they're all still torqued down in the same spot. So it's nice to be able to make quick glance, you know, when you're in the parking lot or wherever about to go for rides. So I'm going to take a little black magic marker. I'm just going to put a little dash on each one of these, basically pointing towards the axle on the head of the bolt. Or use a paint marker or whatever you feel that's nice and subtle, but you can still see. So now every time I walk by the thing, I can look down there and I can see if one of these things is moved and not pointing towards the center. I know the bolt's backing out and we got problems that need to be addressed ASAP. That's pretty much it. That's all I got. If you like it, if you like the video, click like and subscribe in the link below. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram and my website, www.knoblemoto.com. That's Knoble.com. And if you're interested in taking any classes, check us out up at Skidmark Garage. I teach classes and workshops up there. Check out my website for the updates on that. That's all I got. Ride fast, take chances.